Welcome to another episode of Media Strikes Back. As you would have noticed, I'm sitting here on the couch with the lovely Chris Gibson. And you might have noticed that the last few episodes our set's been changing. That's because we like to film in and around Melbourne.
Why shoot on a set when you can actually shoot in Melbourne? Because it's about Melbourne.
It is, and it's great. We've got to see so many new places and new locations. On tonight's show, we have a great lineup for you. We have Surreal, Gracemaker. We also have the Starlight Foundation dinner, 5 chefs dinner in Melbourne. Yum! And also Kester Black. But right now we have Chris. Chris, tell me who you went and saw.
Well, I actually went with Yana and Tom to go and see the Gracemakers. And Yana and Tom did an interview, but I was there the whole way holding their hands off camera.
I'm sure they would have liked that.
Tom enjoyed it. I like holding Tom's hand.
Okay, well let's have a look.
Hi guys, we are here with Tiff and Kent from Gracemakers.
We're at the Wesleyan where they're performing for their EP launch tonight. How's it going, guys?
Oh, very well, thank you guys.
Are we excited? Are we a bit nervous?
Bit of both, I think, a healthy bit of both.
So what's going to happen tonight, guys?
Well, we've got a special night tonight. We'll be launching our EP and we'll be joined by a couple of fantastic guests that are coming along for the occasion. The miraculous Davey Pinder on drums and percussion, who's a renowned drummer around Melbourne. And the Rootsy Troubadour, our great friend Daniel Bowden, will be opening the show and also playing a couple of tracks with us, but that's a secret.
Good stuff.
So,
It's always
so happy
good
to
when
have those guys here,
when you combine and put together a bit of an ensemble. It's always good to see.
Well, we're all really good friends, so this is a natural thing for us to all be on stage together, and it just feels so cool. Like, I mean, not only are we making music, but we're hanging out with our friends, we're having a great time, and it's just so organic and gorgeous. And
Just works.
it makes you
Fun.
feel
Know
like
each
it's
other.
heartwarming, you know?
So you guys write your own music.
Yeah.
And do you write every song together?
Well, sometimes, you know, I will be in the world and the song will come to me, and then I'll come home and I'll say to Ken, hey Ken, I've got a song, what do you think? Is this my song or someone else's? And he'll say, this is definitely our song, so let's, you know, put it down.
Yeah.
So when you say it comes into your head, you don't mean like the idea or some words or something, you mean
like the
you
whole
can hear
melody,
it.
the voice, the whole words, everything's like, hey, a gift, you know.
That's
and
amazing.
yeah, it's really awesome.
Do you have, does that sort of thing happen to you as well, Ken, or is this just Tiff's talent?
No, it happens for both of us. One instance, Tiff came home with a song completely written that she'd written in her head. I'd written a song on guitar, and we said, let's just put them together and it fit together perfectly. So there's many magical things happen along the music path.
So
That's
you guys
amazing.
must know each other pretty well.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Now, sorry, I was going to, sorry to interrupt, but it was, how many years have you guys known each other or been together?
A long time.
So you're a couple?
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah, but we've been working and writing, producing for other artists for a long time, so we've been writing together well before we did this.
Right.
And working with other artists on their material, and we just thought, let's do our own.
Say the bond you have now, was it sort of always strong?
It was instant,
instant?
absolutely
Yeah.
instant. We saw each other. I found out he was a guitarist, so I was like, oh my god, I'm a singer, man. Like, you know, let's connect. And I just started singing
I'm
the
guessing
songs.
there
I
was some
love
leather
it
pants
first
involved back then.
With the first ear. Yeah, it was
Absolutely. So other than sort of romantic type of themes, do you have another type of style that you like to chuck in the mix? Anything about heartbreaks and things like that?
Where's the content?
Well, when you see the whole show, you'll see that it's actually a mixture of incredible love and heartbreak mixed together. So it's like all about, it's not just about, you know, the bright side, it's also about, you know, the things that happen that go wrong in life. It can be about obsession, it can be about, you know, heartbreak.
Oh, wow.
It's about, you know, loss, about, you know, death. It's there's all kinds of subjects that are involved. And it's also about spirituality as well. So there's a whole, you know, a lot of mixing up together of the songwriting.
What's your favourite part about doing what you do? If you had to pick, like, be really specific.
And say that if not for that, I wouldn't do it. Like, what would it be?
I think for me, my favourite thing about it all is actually doing the show and performing. So I love connecting with people. You know, I'm sort of a bit slack in rehearsals and sound check, but like when it comes to doing the show, that's when I feel like I
feel the energy.
I turn on then, you know, like everything else is sort of like sleeping, and then when the actual show's happening, it's like ding, like a light goes.
You're
off,
in your element.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
What about you, Ken?
No, look, mine's a bit more esoteric. It's just that mystery and magic of music, you know, chords and melodies, how they fit together, emotional expression, those intangibles, I guess, but that's for me the real thing that keeps me in there, you know. Yeah.
And did you ever think you'd be doing this, you know, when you were back in school?
Yes.
Yeah.
Always felt
What
it.
an answer. Yeah.
Yes,
No,
just
it's
plain and
exactly
simple.
right.
You know, I was 6 years old and I used to make the girls sit in the girls' toilets, and I would force them to watch me sing, and then I'd make them clap loud. Like they'd clap and I'd go louder, louder. You know, like it was out of control really. But and I continued to do that.
And that was at school?
That is at school. So I started primary, then high school.
What school was that? 'Cause that would have been a fun
that'd
school
be
to hang out
telling, you know.
Again, amazing. Kim, what do you think?
I thought they were great. It's good to see, you know, it's nice to see couples, brothers and sisters, families, all doing things and creating.
They actually are in love, and it sickens me to say that, but they are. They're in love. I think it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
I think it's great when you can share something that you're both interested in and do it together.
Yeah, if you're lucky enough to have your partner involved in the same sort of art, it's 24-hour non-stop.
Well, we're going to cut to a break, so stick around and we'll come back with more on the Starlight Children's Foundation 5 Chefs. Right now we have Sharon joining me on the couch.
How are you going, Kim?
I'm good. I'm excited to have you in.
Thank you. Look, I just wanted to speak about this event I went to the other day. It's the Starlight Children's Foundation 5 Chefs Dinner.
Yum.
And basically, the concept behind it is a committee decides on 5 amazing chefs from the state, so 5 amazing Victorian chefs, 5 amazing signature dishes and 5 amazing wines to go with it together as a combination. And then there's about 500 people that come to this dinner. It's a gala event, and they raise thousands,
all for charity.
Hundreds and thousands of dollars for charity. And the best thing about it is it just goes to show how much of a charitable side Melbourne has and how much people are willing to donate, because everything that is associated with this function is donated.
That's just brilliant.
It is.
Well, let's have a look at the Starlight Foundation dinner and then we'll come back and have a bit more of a
Here
chat
we are
about
at the
it.
Starlight Children's Foundation 5 Chef Dinner here in Melbourne tonight. And I mean, we're always talking about Melbourne culture and about food and how it's a part of us, but who ever knew that Melbourne had such a charity base behind it?
Can I tell you, Melbourne is the food capital of Australia, and then to combine that with the charitable people of Melbourne, you've got this function right here, right now. Come and join us and see what it's all about.
How's the night progressed so far?
So far, people seem to be digging deep, which is what we need, and that's for our silent auction items and our live auction items. But we do have, I think, about another 15 minutes to go on the silent auction items, and what happens is we hope that bidding really escalates, people get very competitive.
How do you go about deciding who is the best in Melbourne?
What I love is that in the kind of that chef industry, I think there is a sense, because in Sydney the event's been going for 25 years, in Melbourne for 14. So now I think the chefs actually are happy to be part of it. So we're now getting chefs putting up their hand and saying,
I want to
you know
do
what,
it.
I want to do it,
Yeah.
which is fantastic.
In relation to the 5 Chefs Dinner, how did that start up? Was it something that just generated out of a boardroom meeting, or?
No,
How did
it
come
actually
about?
came about. One of our board members was very friendly with a chef in Sydney, Amanda Pukuko, who has a restaurant called Buon Ricordo, and he came up with the idea of having multiple chefs. And the first chef's dinner was actually hosted in his restaurant.
Okay.
And then the next year we moved to the Four Seasons Hotel, and then we started this became then Starlight's signature event. So in many ways we were kind of part of the whole celebrity chef movement before there was a celebrity chef movement.
Now, I wanted to ask you, do you have a personal connection to the Starlight Foundation? Is there something in your past or something that you've come across that has touched you in a way where you've chosen this to be the foundation of choice that you promote and are generous to?
Look, I'm lucky that I can say I have a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old who have not needed a Starlight room. I'm an occupational therapist, and so I've worked at the Royal Melbourne Hospital, the Royal Children's Hospital and the Alfred, so I know what it's like to work in hospital environments with kids when I was working at the Children's Hospital. And so For me, it was just so easy to say, yes, I'm happy to help, because I've been to Starlight rooms. I haven't used the experience myself there, but for the grace of God. But really, when you hear about the stories and you meet the families that have needed that kind of help, distraction, commitment in their day, it's such an easy thing to, be able to help.
And all of our programs, we transform the experience of hospitalisation and treatment for the child and the entire family. Because when a child is diagnosed with an illness, is involved in an accident, it changes that child's life and the entire family's life forever. And what we're there to do is to support the wellbeing and resilience, make it more positive, and that means that the child will have a completely different experience of their hospitalisation.
Excellent, and then it'll also contribute to the recovery stage as well.
Absolutely, because you see when a child's feeling better. And for me, when I see a child come into a Starlight Express room, and we have our Starlight Express rooms in the major paediatric hospitals around the country, you see a child and you can see they're in pain, they're sick, their head's down, their shoulders are down, and to see that same child 20 minutes later roaring with laughter, whacking the hell out of a piñata, I think that's what we do every day in a Starlight Express room.
It's what makes it worthwhile, isn't it? Just to bring those smiles and that energy back to the children as well as their families. It's not just the children that really get impacted by it. It's
I found him. We have the very own Captain Ziggy with us. How are you, Captain?
I'm awesome, thanks, JD. It is a really exciting night tonight. We're doing the 5 chefs dinner. So there's 5 amazing chefs all making dishes and raising money for Starlight. So it's pretty exciting.
Fantastic, and of course you're here to represent the Starlight Children's Foundation as well.
Absolutely.
And tell me, what sort of things do you do with the Starlight Children's Foundation?
Okay, well, the Starlight Children's Foundation, there's many different things that we do, but what I'm involved with, especially, is the Starlight room, the Starlight Express room, should I say, at the Royal Children's Hospital. And so that's a room for children at the Royal Children's Hospital to come and just chill out with us, their families, their siblings as well, just to sort of have fun, basically. So we do magic, arts and crafts, we make movies, all the normal things you do in a day's work. Is that normal? Do you make...
Well, I do all these sorts of things. Of course I do. And I'm sure all the guys at home do a lot of magic as well.
Right, I've just had 5 cuisines. Amazing.
It was amazing, and you had 5. So you're probably about as full as a ball, which means that we probably should dash in and get her home. But I tell you what, a big night here at the Melbourne Convention Centre. And what a night. Do yourself a favour and help out a great cause.
Do it
See
right
you
now.
later.
So Kim, are you jealous much?
I
Did you see what I got
am.
to eat?
I am, and all such for a good cause as well.
It was. So we had 5 of the most amazing chefs in Victoria. The chefs that actually put together these signature dishes were Philippe Michel, Mark Best, Michael Lambie, Nikki Rima, and also Darren Prashese. And you know that they're amazing chefs within Melbourne in their own right, and you'd be silly not to go to this dinner.
Oh, definitely. Make sure you all put it on the calendar for next year. Well, let's have a chat to Tom and Steph and see what they're up to.
I sort of started very young, doing graffiti, b-boying, breakdancing, and then eventually led to emceeing, rapping. I was kind of like the baby of my crew in southeastern areas, and they sort of took me in, and I learned a lot, things like that. And then I entered the MC battles when I was old enough to enter. So before that, it was all parties and on the street, and just anyone we can get our hands on. You rap this battle. It was like that. The very first one I entered was at Cherry Bar. It was some old school shit.
Remember Cherry Bar?
Yeah,
Cherry Bar
yeah. I'm not sure, but there was a battle there called Run Amok, and I came second there, which was really cool. It was my first time.
Cool.
Yeah.
Are you still freestyling now?
No, that was kind of like my stepping stone. So I represented Australia 2 years in a row for Australia versus New Zealand in the battle for supremacy. So I won the Victorian title, went to New Zealand, had epic, consistent battles with a lot of Melbourne guys. It was like rivalry, but it was always in good competition.
Yeah.
Always friendly.
Healthy.
Yeah. Always healthy competition, but it was really, really good. And it was like the training before the main fight. The main fight is recording and doing shows and things like that.
So what have you got going on at the moment in terms of music and what you're doing?
When I was 18 years old, I signed to a local independent label / Warner, and I had a couple of singles out with a Melbourne artist, which was really good. I learned a lot there. had a couple of singles out that were, 2 number 1 videos on cable TV stations, music shows, and played all over the country, all over radio. It was really good. But I wasn't mature with what I know about life and what I know about the world and about relationships and friendships and, all these things that actually matter. So my substance wasn't ready when I was young, So I needed the experience. So we did that thing. I toured the country. I was very fortunate and blessed to have those opportunities that I had for a good 3-year run. And even to this day, I'm very fortunate because when a lot of internationals come here, I'm fortunate enough to be doing support for a lot of these artists. Like I did Superfest a couple of times. Busta Rhymes, DMX, pretty much anyone that's come.
What would you say to a kid who's, 16, 17, trying to get into the battles, but he's just that bit too young? What's your advice to him?
Just eat your spinach, son. Eat your spinach, and when you're ready to fight, you'll fight.
Yeah.
See, the thing is this, I'm in my mid-20s, and when I started battling, I was 16, 15, and we used to call each other and battle over the phone, our mates, because we didn't know where else to go.
Yeah.
It was like we were screaming when no one was listening,
Now there's a bit more.
Well, back then, in the early 2000s, mid-2000s, there was freestyle battles, which was, 16 people in one competition, names out of a hat, whoever you get, and it has to be spontaneous.
Yeah.
For some reason, they don't do that anymore, and I can respect it because it evolves and it's changing to what it is. Now what they do, you pick the organisers of battles pick their opponents 2 months in advance. You have 2 months to write about that person.
Oh, right.
Then you meet in the middle and then you battle. And I respect it because, some incredible lyrics come out.
Of course. But I guess everyone's on the same page.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Whether it was completely no preparation or 2 months, you're all still at the same advantage.
Yeah. It just, the only thing to me that took away a little bit was the art of the skill, spontaneous.
Of course. Yeah.
That's the thing that I miss. But you got to respect how it's changed. I can't change that, and it's a good thing.
Thanks, Tom and Steph. Hip hop is growing and growing every day, isn't it?
It's massive in Australia. I'm sure you guys have heard of the artist 360. So he raps about everyday normal Australian things as opposed to like living in the ghetto in America. So he'll be like, I was at the train station and a girl came up to me and that sort of thing. So
it's really
oh wow,
it's
hard-hitting, deep stuff.
Well, let's jump to a break. So stick around and we'll come back and chat to Kester Black. Welcome back from the break. Now, I am joined with the lovely Joanna. Now, Joanna, tell me where you've been lately.
So, I got the opportunity to visit Anna Ross, who is a jewellery designer for her brand Kester Black. And basically, I checked out the website and I thought, it looked really fancy. I thought, okay, so there's going to be some fashionista, she's going to have all this bling, 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 bling.
Gorgeous.
But she's just a straight up girl who literally makes and designs the jewellery in her home, and she combines things which might not be thought as beautiful with something beautiful like a chain, and makes necklaces, and she's built herself completely from the ground up from a $50 paycheck.
Oh wow.
All herself, hasn't borrowed anything. It was astonishing.
Well, let's go visit Anna and check out some of her jewellery.
Hi guys, I'm here with Anna Ross, owner and founder of the brand Kester Black. It's a brand of jewellery that is stocked in 17 stores across Australia and 6 stores in Melbourne. Anna, thank you so much for talking to us today.
No worries.
We're here in her little workshop.
Little's right.
Please, can you tell us a little bit about your brand? Where did the name come from?
Actually, Kester Black started when I was studying fashion design in New Zealand, in Dunedin, and I went away for a summer to work with some family friends in Blenheim, and they had a batch down in the Marlborough Sounds. So we used to go out trying to wakeboard. I never mastered it. To St Kester Bay, and that's where the Kester part came in, and the only house in St Kester Bay was owned by a priest, and they have little retreats there. So it just sort of, thinking of a brand name was the hardest thing you could possibly do when starting a label, and St Kester Bay was just the most beautiful place I've ever been to, so that's where the name sort of evolved from.
That's wonderful. So beautiful name for beautiful jewellery. So can you tell us how you got into your line and also what made you move to Melbourne?
I realised that there was going to be 30 great graduates from my class and that there was really only 10 big brands that could possibly employ us when we finished. So I decided that I'd come here, get some work experience, and then I would maybe have something more to offer than the rest of my classmates. So I did have a small brand while I was studying, which was always really exciting. It was fashion based. And then I sold everything I owned, came to Melbourne to get a job, ended up working in retail, as you do, and thought I can't not do something. So I just happened to be in the city one day and came across a jewellery supply store and found some cheap chain and thought, right, I'm making a jewellery label.
And there we go. I love it.
Yeah,
That's
so
great.
it was just a natural, I just had to work out how to get things cast, where to get them done, how to finish them, and then it all just started from there.
So you completely started from scratch?
Yes, I did.
Awesome. And so can you tell us a little bit about what makes your jewellery unique? Like we've got a few little cute wee things going on here, the bear, etc. Can you tell us about what you've got?
Yeah, my approach to jewellery is to use precious metals, so gold and silver. I don't use so much gold because it is so expensive that it's not really affordable to my market. But I really like the idea of using precious metals and then combining them with something that's not so beautiful in the words. So I make these as a bit of a joke actually. And then of course, Melbourne being Melbourne fashion, they just took off and everybody wanted them. I thought they'd be a bit out there for New Zealand actually. So yeah, everything just starts with a bit of, I like to call it sort of ugly pieces that really have a beauty because people appreciate them rather than being sort of fine-lined, clean pieces like Pandora and things like that.
Ah, okay.
The girls that rock these are they'll be wearing fluoro everywhere, patterns clashing, and they just look really great in it, but it's nothing that I could pull off.
Sure you can. So tell us what's coming up. We've got a few interesting wee things on the cards to come. So what have you got coming up?
So recently I've been looking into things that go with my jewellery line. I sort of just wanted to push that out. We were going into leather bags and clutches, so it's all about just accessorising and adding to the jewellery. So for now, small leather clutches, nail polishes, and keep doing that.
Gonna get the bling bling with the ring and the nails and the bag and glasses, who knows?
It's just really great because I can build on those as well. I can just add colours in and things like that, so they'll be sort of staple pieces. It won't be a big collection. They won't be out there. It's just build on sort of thing. Yep.
You definitely know what's going on and how to get everything going. So make sure that when you're strolling around, if you see Kester Black, that you remember Anna. Maybe put something beautiful and non-beautiful together and rock it out with your fluorescent Melbourne. Let's do it.
Wow, it looked like she had some amazing things there.
She was amazing, all of it. I just loved it all. And she's got her jewellery in 17 stores across Australia and 6 stores in Melbourne. So it's just proof of how well she's done.
And it's a massive achievement, to go from not very much to now having your label stocked in all of these stores. I mean, that's just inspirational for any aspiring jewellery maker out there.
You can do it, guys.
Yeah, and make some jewellery.
And do you know what I loved as well? She commented on my ring, which I picked up for like $3 on Brunswick Street. I was like, yeah.
She likes my jewellery. Well, thank you for joining us for another show. Make sure you jump on the website, mediastrikes.com.au, and we'll see you guys shortly with another episode.